Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 197. I'm Mox Born again. I have with me, it's my angel.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I am fantastic. Trying to readjust the microphone here. All right, so we're back 2 weeks in a row. High five. No high five. 2 weeks in a row. Almost starting on time. Almost. We are a mere 56 minutes late, but that's okay. We had a little bit of a science project. Well, I guess I don't know if you call it a science project. It's more of a... Well, I guess it was kind of a science project. We put... Amanda's grandmother bought our son Elijah a solar system for his ceiling, and we were constructing that. And mid-construction, we realized very quickly that we didn't have batteries for the thing. So basically, it's, you plug it, you put the batteries in it, and it's got a sun. And it has like all the planets that rotate around it, which is pretty sweet. So we were working on that. But yeah, so what's going on?
We have a very awake baby this episode.
He's very awake. You see the baby? Oh, he's so cute. Hi, Sawyer. This is your second episode. How are you doing, buddy?
He's very awake today.
He's very awake. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So
we'll see how long I'm...
Right. We'll see how long this goes. We've got a pretty good show for you guys planned. Before we get into that, I want to thank everybody for watching. We've got our YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/72DPI online. Go ahead and check that out. Leave us a thumbs up or subscribe to see all of our videos. Like this one, we've got more stuff coming down the line in January. We've got a couple of series that we're pre-recording, much different than this one, which we do live. So give us a thumbs up there if you like our stuff. Subscribe if you want to hear all of when this our videos go live. And then let's see what else is going on. Thank you for watching on twitch.tv/BC Podcast, and they also are streaming for the second time to Facebook Live.
Although I feel we may have fewer viewers this time. It's the final game of the World Series tonight that we're contending with.
Yeah, we started a little late, so I'm not sure. I mean, what's the score right now? Let's see here. Let's see if they're getting blown out like they were last night. Cleveland Indians, let's see. And it is tied 1-1 at the end of the third. So it's still we probably won't have very many viewers. That's okay. You can check all of our speaking of missing shows, you can check all of our past episodes on YouTube. So yes, if you're not watching this live. But yeah, we are going to be what's up, Squall? We are going to be using the Facebook live feed from now on, I guess, for a little bit. It's nice just because it's easy for us to reach just everybody. Like, if you want to get the more in-depth, experience, you can go to the Twitch chat or whatever and go there. But yeah, it's kind of cool. We still quite haven't figured out the camera angle yet. The phone is actually just being held by some zip ties, so very ghetto. But we'll come to us now that we know that we're going to be using it on a regular basis. We'll get a better solution for that, so it's a little bit more professional, and you can actually see my face and Amanda's face, because that's just like bad. Like, come on, Joe. Let's get it together. Like, see it can go like that, but then you got to talk down. It's still a work in progress, right?
Put it over there.
You can put it over there. As long as you're speaking into it, that's the thing. If you're speaking into it, then, So we've got a pretty exciting top 3 planned. Is there anything you want to jump into beforehand?
Not particularly.
Nope. Okay. All right. So our top 3 are pretty easy. Number 3 is Titanfall 2. I rented it last night. Got to play a little bit of it, a couple hours of it. Looking to dive into a little bit more, but I want to give you guys my first impressions of Titanfall 2. Number 2 is gonna be the Nintendo Switch announcement. Oh no, he's angry.
It's nighttime. He gets fussy.
So number 2 is going to be the Nintendo Switch announcement. We didn't talk about it last week, but we are going to talk about it this week. And number 1 is going to be Walking Dead episode. So if you haven't seen the new Walking Dead, we are going to spoil the shit out of it. We'll remind you guys again once we get to that point. But let's talk about Titanfall 2.
I really have nothing to say about it.
Well, you watched me play a little bit of it last night before you went to bed. Giant robots and Call of Duty mashed together. Maybe a little bit of Halo in there. The one thing that I do find interesting is the first level in Titanfall 2. I apologize, I don't have any recorded video for it. I really would have loved to, but didn't get around to doing that. But anyway, the first level of Titanfall 2 reminds me of the first level of Halo 3, when Chief is coming in hot onto Earth, and he lands into the jungle, and you've got Sergeant Johnson he wakes him up or whatever, and like you're going through the forest and shooting out the Covenant. It's very theatrical. It's like you're like in the thick of the forest or whatever. Same thing happens here. There's wildlife all over the place. You're in the middle of a firefight, here, there, and another place. The graphics are it's just stunning. Like, it's amazing what they can accomplish onto one disc. Granted, you're downloading, updates and stuff like that, but like the core of that game is on that disc. It's amazing what they can do. Yes, I mean, so the gunplay is a lot of fun. It plays just like Titanfall 1. Like, it's almost identical to that. You still got the double jump. You still got your camouflage technique or skill. The weapons are fairly similar. From what I can remember, I haven't played Titanfall in a long time, but you've got a wide range of weapons. The tutorial is a lot of fun, and they even kind of gamify the tutorial to a point where it's like a training ground, and like they time you or whatever, and there's like a leaderboard that you can kind of compete in or whatnot. So I find that a lot of fun. It kind of makes the tutorial a little bit more interactive, and not like, hey, this is how you jump, this is how you slide. They like put you through like an obstacle course type of thing, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But what else? So there is a single player with this one around this go around, which was one of the biggest complaints about Titanfall 1, is they just dropped you right into this multiplayer, and you really didn't have any like idea of what was going on. Oh man. You didn't have any idea of what was going on. So this one, you play as a certain character, and he's not a pilot, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But in the first level, he pretty much gains his pilot license. So I find it a lot of like interesting that they give you that set piece right away, and don't go about like saying, oh, here, you should learn how to play the game first, and they're just like, oh, here's your Titan, like the most badass of weapons, blah blah blah, within the first half hour. But I will give them credit; they do create their levels really well, to the point where you have to get out and actually use the Titan, or get out and you actually play as the pilot. You have to get into certain areas, collect certain things to move forward in the game. So Titanfall 2, definitely a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, Titanfall 1 was a lot of fun. It was one of those games that was like, oh, no one's ever done this before. It's kind of like Mirror's Edge meets Call of Duty, and it's got the online component of Halo, and it's like all mashed together. Now it's all that, and it has a story. I can't really speak too much of the story. What's up? Yes. I can't speak too much of the story, only because I've only put a few hours into it. But so far, I mean, it's kind of, your character's not like this, random dude that can get lost in the mix. It's you're a badass. So yeah, I know you're not really interested in Titanfall 2.
No,
I'm sorry.
I never played Titanfall 1.
Well, you should play this one.
Okay.
All right, so let's switch over to Microsoft Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo announced their new gaming console that's coming out after the Wii U, called the Switch. It's kind of like this.
Similar to the Wii U.
It's kind of similar to the Wii U in the fact that they took the gamepad of the Wii U that has the screen on it, and they made the controls of it removable, right? So
the sides come off and it becomes a tablet.
Right. You can basically take the two sides, they can pull off, and you can put the two sides together to make a controller.
To play on your TV.
To play on your TV while this thing is docked. So it's got a couple different like variations of it. We really didn't get a lot of information. We didn't get very many specs. There was.
Looks like you can also use the. So here's the three variations basically, like you just said. You can pull the controls off the side of the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
Play it on the TV.
Yep.
You can put the controls on the side of the tablet and make it a portable system.
Right.
Or you can take the controls off the tablet and use the tablet as your television set, basically.
Correct.
And use that as a portable system that way, using the controls as a controller. So.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of like an all-in-one type of deal. And to me, it's what the Wii U should have been. Like when I saw the Wii U, and you saw that tab, like, oh sweet, I can play the games on the big screen. I can take the games with me on the handheld. But that wasn't the case. You weren't tethered, but you had to be on the same, within, an earshot of the system for it to actually work. So like, what the games that we saw? So I think the games we saw were.
Zelda.
Mario Kart. We also saw some type of Skyrim Oblivion type of game. There was also, what else? There was Splatoon, I think, the one with where they shoot the paint at each other or whatever.
I don't know.
We didn't get much in the form of like specs or anything like that. It's literally just like a 3.5 minute announcement trailer where it showed the people playing the Switch ignoring the people they were around, essentially. Like this chick here, she was invited to a party, and what does she do? She's, instead of putting her game down and going to the party, she takes her game with her, and now she's playing at the party.
Yeah, I was I think on an airplane.
Yeah, on an airplane. Which for people that travel, it's got a little kickstand, so you can set up shop and you can put the little screen up, and I don't know, it's kind of neat.
These guys are at a game of some sort.
Yeah, they're at some type of like
event?
like a competition or whatever, like an e-sport type of dealie. So they're trying to appeal to the mass markets, essentially. The other thing that I found interesting that I want to know more and how it works is they showed people in a van with the screen up on the headrest, and then they took the two sides of the controller off, and player 1 had a controller and player 2 had a controller. Right, so they basically turned them on their side, and now you've got a thumbstick and four face buttons. I want to know how that works. It showed them playing an NBA game, which if you've ever played an NBA game, the control scheme is usually pretty complex to the point where you're using the triggers and the buttons on a normal controller and the face buttons. So I'd be interested to see how they dumb the controllers down so that you can play a game like that and still have only essentially four buttons to play with. So yeah. So that's that. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to play it. I think I would rather spend money on a VR setup. Like honestly, like if it was up to me, I think I would say, you could probably. They didn't tell us a price point. Right, no price point.
Right.
This thing's probably. How much do you think it would? What's your guess as to how much?
What did the Wii U start at?
I think 300.
Similar.
Really? Okay.
3 or 4.
Yeah, it looks like Expose says, I personally don't see the Switch going anywhere. I think it will scratch that itch for the people that felt like betrayed by the Wii U, because the Wii was this awesome device that really spoke to the general public, and everybody really enjoyed it. Like it was a phenomenon of its own. Like motion controllers had never been done before, and this was like kind of Nintendo kind of beat everybody to it, right?
I think you still have kids. Like I know Eli, like he knows Mario Kart, even though we don't have a Wii or a Wii U.
Right.
He knows Mario Kart.
Right.
I think he's played Smash Brothers in the story. You know, you still get that demographic of the kid demographic that I think Nintendo is pretty much always going to appeal to because of the characters
Right.
and some of the games that somehow, even though we don't have it, they get to know.
I think, and and to be honest with you, I think a lot of that has to do with YouTube. I really do. Like, cause and it's kind of weird because you would like last generation, you would think the thought process was I would rather play the game instead of watch someone play the game. But it's hilarious because Eli more often than not will turn on the Xbox and go right to YouTube and watch someone play games. In fact, he'll watch Dan or the minecart guy or whatever watch Roblox, which he has Roblox, so he could literally play that game, but he would rather watch someone else play, in that instance. And I don't know if it's just like the personality that he likes. He doesn't like. I think he likes Dan as a personality type of thing. And he gets enjoyment out of like the jokes and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's interesting to me. I think like going back to what I was talking about, how the original Wii was this awesome piece of hardware that no one had seen before, and it came out right before Christmas, so it was this huge like big seller for Christmas for kids and families, and it kind of made a big splash. And then when they came out with the Wii U, it had the same title, Wii, it had Wii in it. So it automatically people assume like, oh, this is either like an upgrade, a newer console, kind of like the Xbox One versus the Xbox One S, and it had a very similar lineup of games, same control. It actually used the same controller as the Wii, so it used the same controller, minus the touch screen.
Right. It's like playing the Xbox versus the Xbox Slim or
Right, the Xbox S. Right.
Right.
So
PlayStation, whatever they call it, yeah.
right. So I mean, and I feel like and then they had the whole conundrum with the tablet not being able to be actually somewhere else besides in front of the system. So I don't know. I think this was it's a good way. It's a good name. I think the Nintendo Switch gets away from the Wii title or whatever, because that's been burnt out. It gives them something new to actually work with. The idea of having the mobility. I wonder what this is going to do to the DS economy.
Right. Why have a DS if you can have the same?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless there's games that are specifically for the DS, like the Pokemon Sun Moon that Eli's.
Oh, right.
Like DS exclusives.
This is very true. Which there will be, but and that might be how they get people to continue to buy a thing. I'm gonna push you up just a little bit.
Sorry.
I don't know. I'm interested. Nintendo announced that they're going to announce more specs on it. I think January 17th is what they said. So we are going to get more information about it, but until then, we're just kind of left wondering.
Right.
Zelda looked pretty sweet, which we've seen the Zelda game before, not on the Switch, but we've seen it play. We've seen people playing it before. It was kind of like an Oblivion style where you can actually impact your character's movement and stuff like that with what you're wearing and how you equip things and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's not coming out till March of 2017, so we got quite a while. And no. The other thing that I was interested to know about is no specifications about like how hardware inside the system. So we don't know like specifics or anything like that. So it's unfortunate, but we'll see. We'll get more. So, all right. Number one on our top 3 list, Walking Dead episode 2 from season 7. So what'd you think?
Definitely a lighter episode.
Yeah, it's hard to follow up that episode 1. Spoiler alert. We're going to spoil the shit out of this. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to follow up the first episode with an even more depressing, more
Right.
action packed.
Which honestly, I wasn't all that enthused with the first episode. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it answered the question that we were all waiting for a long time, and yeah, it was the breakdown of Rick. But I enjoy the lighter episodes that help kind of move the story and character development along a little bit more.
Right.
That took place over the span of a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode did, and we saw Rick break down.
Mm-hmm.
That's and yeah, that whole event does have to be there to push the story forward, and change what's gonna happen. I like this last episode.
So with this episode, what did we see? We saw basically it was a Morgan and
Carol
episode the whole time. That's pretty much all we got, right?
Right.
So
basically, it introduced us to the kingdom.
The kingdom and King
and
Ezekiel.
The people who are there. So King Ezekiel and Shiva.
The lion.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger. Excuse me. It was a lion during production or during audition. His audition. No, I think it was interesting. The background story that you get with King Ezekiel.
Right. When Carol goes in. She's been wounded. They take her here.
She's in a wheelchair.
And Morgan introduces her. She's been out for a couple of days. Morgan introduces her to King Ezekiel, who, I think as the viewer, you kind of think the same thing Carol thinks. Like, what the the heck? Who is this idiot? Like, he's completely mad. He's in a theater.
Right. She gets wheeled in, like, in the center of town, like this huge amphitheater, and like he's sitting on this throne with the fake backdrop. Did you notice the fake backdrop
of like a kingdom?
Yeah, of like a kingdom in the background, and like he's got this huge lion. Tiger. Sorry, tiger's got stripes. Tiger. I know my animals. Leave me alone.
On a chain, sitting next to him. He's got kind of like this page person standing, introducing and everything, and he's just kind of perched up there in his throne, speaking in his kind of medieval.
Right. He's playing the part.
He is totally in this Renaissance, and she's in there, and it feels very much like a Renaissance fair.
Right, and she kind of makes light of the situation, like, oh my God, am I sleeping? Like, am I like someone wake me up? Like, kinda.
Right, she's speechless, and then she kind of, and he's like, well, I addressed, I'm the king, and I've addressed you. Why have you not spoken?
Right,
and she kind of does a half a little laugh, like, I'm just so I can't believe I'm speaking with royalty, Your Majesty,
right.
And
someone get me a hairbrush.
Yeah.
So she's like cracking jokes, which I find it's funny that the episode after Abraham dies, we have this an episode that's just there's a whole lot of like comic relief in this episode, and it's from people that don't normally have. They don't have like a lighter side. They're usually pretty dark.
I think she was just trying to play it like in her Carol way. She was trying to look like this flippant. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to play her role. Like when she got to Alexandria, how she was playing that housewife.
Yeah, the housewife role. Right. So
she was playing a role.
Right. And later on in the episode, Ezekiel calls her out.
He
sees it because he's doing the same thing. Like he kind of like sheds the whole like Renaissance king type of thing or whatever, and kind of talks straight with her and says, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. Like, and then he kind of gives his reasoning as to why he's doing it. He really,
Right. Carol comes out and says, "You're a joke."
Right.
Like,
you're a joke.
All this horrible stuff's going on, and you're sitting here playing.
Right. And he turns around and says, well, maybe this is what they need. People want to follow people. Mm-hmm. And if he can give them some glimmer of hope or, some form of happiness, or maybe they even need a fairy tale
something
to be a part
for.
of. Right.
Right.
And it's funny because it's almost like everything that was going right with not Alexandria. What was where was the governor from? Winterberry? No.
Woodbury.
Yeah, Winterberry. Winter's coming. That's a whole nother series. Wrong series. No, but it's like everything that was going right with Woodbury, right? They had like the crops, they had food, they had electricity, and they had this nice
like a
town.
government structure,
Right, they had a
school. They have
exactly.
a whole community.
So in this place has a lot of the same things. You see teachers teaching kids. You see people, tending to crops,
Like
and
an art class maybe or something going
right.
on. Yeah.
So
They have a musician. He's like, we have a wonderful guitarist who can come play for you.
and
And
they said something about the choir. It wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't an upstanding comment that he made. He was like, "We have an okay choir or something." I can't remember exactly what he said.
I forget.
But he said he mentioned like the guitarist or whatever, and then like we also got that small group that can sing too. But you really need to see the guitarist. But then we see that King Ezekiel obviously he's got a mask, and he's kind of like what Carol does, playing a role. But we also see that he's been fallen to Negan's group.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole nother side of the story that kind of
the townspeople aren't even aware of it
right.
necessarily. I
So
don't think.
it makes me wonder how much more is going on with Ezekiel that we don't know. Because like the governor, like when you first see him, like you're like, oh, he's a nice guy, like he's just trying to get by, and that's the same thing you see with this guy. But then you start to notice the governor's got secrets. Now Ezekiel's got secrets. I don't think they're one and the same. Like
No.
they're not. I don't think they're cut from the same cloth, rather. But
No, and that's the thing about the Ezekiel. His former life was a zookeeper, and that's how he ended up with the tiger. After everything fell and he didn't know where to go, he went back to the zoo, and Shiva was one of the last animals that was still living after not being cared for at the zoo, which is really a horrible, horrible thought, thinking about what all happened to all these animals when people aren't around to help them.
mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Well, they're all still in captivity, so obviously no one's feeding them. So
Right. So,
that sucks.
she actually was pretty tame, 'cause I guess he had helped her out a time before.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of became very, very tame to him and really took to him. So he was able to save her, and that's kind of how he came into power. But it shows that he's a caretaker. He was a zookeeper. He took care of animals. Now he's taking care of his people. Yeah. So it speaks a lot to who he is. I think at least I think the person that he was showing Carol is his true self.
Right.
Obviously that could be another mask. He's good at playing the King Ezekiel role. He could have another layer to him, even yet. But I want to trust and believe him.
Well, the other thing that's kind of got me questioning, and it's interesting. I think it's funny because he's got this mask that he puts on for his followers or whatever, the townsfolk, and then he has this mask that he's got this.
What you assume is the real person.
What you assume is the real person who he comes out with Carol, and then he's got this devious side where he's keeping secrets, and the Negan thing is his secret. But he's confided in a couple people because what's happening is his group is using them for food. One of the things that they're offering up to the saviors is pigs and pork. But what they don't tell the saviors is they're feeding the pigs zombies.
Yeah.
Which is gross, and they don't tell you that right up front. So we're like looking at the first thing that popped in my mind is like they showed what the pigs were eating way before we even saw any sign of the saviors, right?
Right.
So I'm like thinking in the back of my mind, oh my god, he's like feeding his people these people
Right.
inside of the pig. Like that's gross. Like that's messed up. And then you find out that they're butchering the pigs outside of the town. So there's no questions that are raised, so that they can give them to the saviors. I want to know.
It'll be interesting though, because he said next week is vegetable week or produce week or something.
Yeah, produce
So
week.
it'd be
So better
interesting to
produce.
see does he have another like crop somewhere that he's is he taking his town's produce? If so, then they're aware of it.
Yes.
Or does he have another set of crops elsewhere that he's keeping hidden, like the pigs?
Right.
Because otherwise, why hide the pigs if you aren't going to hide the crops?
Exactly.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what.
And that raises another question: are they putting Are they, putting their crops in, burying their crops in dead zombies? Like, just kind of continue the.
Well, I don't know that they're trying to necessarily poison them with the zombie flesh so much as they're just trying. It's a way to get the pigs fat.
without
And
losing
without
food.
without using their, it's a way to keep them fed without using their own crops.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
So
So maybe it's not
it's
like
just
a
an
devious plan.
economical.
Yeah, that's true. The other question.
Well, also
that,
kind of giving them the middle finger, like,
yeah,
haha, you don't know
you're
what we're doing
eating
this,
people.
but
Like,
right.
yeah, we peed in your Cheerios kind of thing. The other thing that I was kind of interested to see is the saviors don't meet in the town. They meet outside the town or whatever. So if the town is unaware of the saviors, what's stopping Negan and his group from coming into the town and kind of blowing this bubble of trust between Ezekiel and his clan?
I think just because they're getting what they need. I don't, and like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan, has said he doesn't think Negan views himself as a bad guy.
Right. No, I get
He's
that.
just trying to get what he wants, and he's getting what he wants
Right, no, I
from
get
this.
that.
So why would he want to drive a wedge between Ezekiel and his
Yeah.
people? Because then they won't be
As productive.
producing.
I gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Well, you're smart. Go ahead, you. Good job. Yeah, I love the episodes like this that kind of calm it down a little bit, bring it back down to square one, where you got the title of the series is Walking Dead, right? That's they're referring to the actual people that are not zombies yet. So I really do enjoy the lighter episodes as much as I enjoy the face smashing Lucille wielding episodes. This one, bringing it back down to like, oh my God, these are people. They have to, it's not always guns blazing. It's where are we going to get our next meal kind of thing. And this episode's kind of shows you like the human interaction portion of it.
right, which is why I think I enjoyed that a little more than
Right. But
the last episode.
I think if you don't have a good balance, you don't have a good show.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the last episode didn't serve purpose.
Right.
It definitely did, but I enjoy these type
So,
of episodes more.
With the last episode, episode 1, like you didn't have like your heart wasn't pounding, like you didn't feel like anxiety or anything like that.
I was disgusted.
I
didn't have a lot of anxiety about it though.
See,
it didn't impact me in ways that other episodes of theirs have in the past, like with
that's
Beth and all that.
interesting. Okay, well, to me it was very like emotional. Like it wasn't like bawling my eyes out, but I could really feel like my heart rate increase and like
And a lot of people did, but I think we were so
prepared, not really
yeah,
like prepped.
Right. I mean, we knew what was going to happen.
Like one of these people are going to die.
Right. You saw it from their point of view at the end of the last episode.
Yeah. Oh no.
A little technical difficulty with a makeshift phone holder.
Oh no. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Now all the people on Facebook are being ill as they.
I'm sorry. Oh god. All right. Connection is weak.
Does that mean we're about done? For the,
We are about done. It's hilarious. The screen is saying connection is weak. The connection is weak to the phone to the pole. Shit. All right. This is all the more reason why we need to get a phone holder for this thing, because my phone's about to fall, and if it hits the floor,
No
I'm
more
going to be
phone.
pissed. No more phone. Anyway. All right,
anyway,
guys.
our technology
That's-
is telling us episode over.
Right. That is a sign. So, all right. That's a good episode. Let's end it on a good note before I start cussing. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you watch on Facebook, I really do appreciate it. Head over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/72DPI online. You can check out all of our old shows there. If you like what we do, give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it on YouTube. Subscribe, and you'll get a notification when all of our shows go live immediately. Like I said, we've got some new stuff coming out early January that we're going to be recording. I'm kind of excited about a lot of board game stuff. So it's going to be some good times. If you want to watch us live, we go live usually every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. However,
It hasn't happened at 8 o'clock yet.
it hasn't happened at 8 o'clock yet, but that's the time slot that we're looking for. You can follow us on Twitter, and we'll definitely post when we're going live on there. But go to twitch.tv/BC podcast to watch us live and get all the fancy overlays and shit like that. Yeah. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.
See ya.